Hello book lovers, and welcome to day 18 of 30, where I talk about my top 30 all-time favorite books in honor of my 30th birthday. Today we will be talking about Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This is a young adult fantasy novel, a historical fantasy novel that is inspired by the Brother Grimm story, The Goose Girl. In this book, we are following Vanya, and she was a maid of a noble woman, and she ends up stealing a pair of magical pearls that this noble girl wears to make her look prettier. But when Vanya wears it, it actually makes her look like that noble girl, and so she steals those and takes her place, and she uses her position of newfound privilege to rob other wealthy families. Vanya is actually the child of two goddesses, Death and Fortune, and she was raised by them after being abandoned by her family. However, she does not want to work for either of them, and so she is seeking to make her own way by gathering this fortune. Unfortunately for her, she ends up stealing an item that belonged to another god or goddess, and this god ends up approaching her and letting her know that as a punishment for stealing this object, they are going to turn her into what she desires most unless she returns everything she stole. And so she starts to turn into rubies. Obviously, this will eventually kill her, and so she sets out to return everything she has stolen, which includes the life of this noble girl. This is such a fun story. Highly recommend the audiobooks. I will preface this by saying this is a trilogy, and I did not like the third book. I quite enjoyed the first two books. The first book I think was definitely the best. The second book was great until the ending, which I felt kind of went in a direction where the entire second book became essentially irrelevant and kind of felt like the author was forcing a third book, and so the third book I felt like was unnecessary, and after I read it I was like, yes, I think it was unnecessary. So I would definitely read at least the first two books. The third book, you can take it or leave it. That being said, I really enjoy the fact that our character Vanya, as well as her love interest, had a sexual representation in this book, because during this book, as she is trying to return everything that she has stolen, she starts to gather a little group of people around her, including a smaller god. I keep using the word god. I'm not quite sure if that's the right word, but she is supposed to be keeping an eye on Vanya to make sure that she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. Obviously, we have the noble girl that she's trying to repair a relationship with, and we also have a young man who is trying to hunt her down because she is known as the red penny thief, because every time she steals something, she leaves behind a red penny. And so she is trying to juggle a lot of things. She's definitely overwhelmed. She is someone who feels like she doesn't deserve the help of other people. She has always been someone who is very independent and has turned her back on those who try to help her. And throughout the story, we kind of see her being forced to accept help and start to gradually see the benefits of having people that she really cares about and who care about her around her. This is definitely giving some found family vibes. I really enjoyed the world building in here. I really enjoyed the magic that we got to experience. It was definitely giving those more classic fairy tale vibes, where you could definitely tell that there was a darker side to the more magical things that were happening. I did enjoy the mystery aspect of this story. You know, I'm not always a big mystery girl, but for this one, it definitely did work for me. Again, I really enjoyed Vanya as a character and watching her grow throughout this series. She's someone who carries a lot of trauma and resentment in her. She is someone who is reluctant to think that people can change, including herself. She kind of feels like, I've made my bed, I have to lie in it, and I can't become a better person. This is who everyone thinks I am, and so this is who I'm going to be, rather than trying to prove people wrong. However, the people around her start to see her in a better light and kind of force her to see her potential of being a good person. So in the beginning, she's definitely more of an unlikable character, but she's definitely someone who is going to grow on you, and someone that I related to, especially when it came to her feelings revolving around like romance and relationships, as well as like physical intimacy. So there was a lot of things that I really did enjoy about this book. Let me know if you've read Little Thieves or the series as a whole and what you thought of it, and I will see you tomorrow with our next book.